Alright, hello everyone. So we got two kits today. I will talk about the other one, but let's briefly cover InkBrush first, which is, it's InkBrush NOUVEAU. So, another one of my kit predictions that's about half right, where, like, I get the general direction they're going, but I didn't get quite, get the sub and special both right. In this case, mine is back. I was pretty sure it was going to be, because it's been repeated twice anyway. But, instead of something like a big bubble, or even something like a crab tank or reef slider, we ended up getting Ultra Stamp. Now, obviously this vanilla kit is built to be able to kind of enable its team to get in. Like, you have a bomb and you have a very cheap killer whale, and then when those go off, you roll in and you go kill people. Like, it's a very standard InkBrush kit. It's a bit weird because this kind of playstyle hasn't existed because the bomb kits have always sucked, because it had Strike in Splatoon 1, which you couldn't move very well during because of the whole throwing thing, and it had Splashdown, which I don't even know what they were going for with them. But now that we actually have this kit normal, they wanted to do the kit that worked in Splatoon 2, which is the NOUVEAU kit, which had Mine and Baller. The way that would work is, oh shoot, the brush got behind you one time, places mine, farms a baller, runs at you, flicks at you, pops a baller, rolls around, explodes, flicks again, runs away, you run into the mines while you chase it. Like, it's a giant pain to kill. Like, Brush NOUVEAU was completely different than the style in this brush. And they are trying to recreate that, which I like, because I think having access to both styles is good. This is actually what I want for a lot of the weapon kits. Like, I want both styles of play that the weapons have liked to be available. Like, that's why for range I want a really aggressive kit now that it's gone a good supportive one with Suction Wavebreaker, because I think weapons should have access to all the different playstyles that they've had that have worked for them in the previous games. Now, obviously mine should work just as well, but the big difference in this kit, and I guess I'll use Wiper for this, is Ultra Stamp. So, while Stamp does kind of move, Stamp doesn't help you get in as much. It's vulnerable on the side, so if you charge past people, like if I try to charge past this guy, I accidentally threw it. If I try to charge past this guy like that, then he's going to end up being able to shoot me pretty easily. And you can't really stamp past a group of people. Like, you would just kind of baller and you'd run through the side if you really need it. And even then, if you had to use your baller to get behind people, it wasn't really great. Admittedly, the weakness of NOUVEAU is getting in is hard. And I think that's a fair weakness, because if it could get in, everything about its kit absolutely wrecks you once it gets there. What I do like for the Ultra Stamp is, first off, its one-hit range is actually pretty good compared to InkBrush's range, like the actual jump swing. And the other thing is it provides good damage to objects. So it is somewhat useful. Like, it's better than it was with Octobrush. My big problem with Octobrush is the Stamp's Rush mode was never really that much more applicable than the normal one outside of the DPS. Like, just normally swinging. But because of the lack of range in InkBrush, I have it here. And I think the point of Stamp is that it wouldn't get an HP special. Like, they didn't want it to be invincible or invulnerable at some point, and so Stamp gives it an option that still protects it, but also, you could still fight it. Which, fair, I could totally see that line of logic. I also think the Throne Stamp is going to be a really interesting mind game, because most other Throne Stamp weapons can't be behind you. Well, except for Wiper, but Wiper's a bit different. I'm going to have to talk about Wiper in its own video. But it's like, this weapon can go behind you, pop Stamp, and rather than worrying about having an InkBrush get in your face, you have to worry about a Stamp being thrown at you from super far away. I'm also going to link a video by Spore. They are one of the best InkBrush players, and they talk about it, and they go into these things a little bit more, and I really like their video on it and agree with it. They have a bit of a problem with mines, which I get because getting in, but again, I think this kit is supposed to be both tools really helping you get in, and you're supposed to build around it in your team comp. So with that being said, oh boy! So, a lot of the kits have gotten some form of flack before. I can pull up Kiver's funny tweet real quick. And this is another one where I'm gonna mute it because I'm unsure if I can actually have the sound in it, but hopefully that's enough. But it's like, you know, you see the kid and you laugh and you find it funny and it's all that. I get that, but here's the thing, like, even these kits being weaker right now is more due to the parts. Like, Angle Shooter isn't that great right now, or Line Marker, and Ultra Stamp isn't that great right now. However, there's a difference here. A lot of the kits that we saw were weak mostly because of balance things. They're things that could be fixed. Like, Bucket Deco's kit makes a lot of sense, it just needs the parts to be better. And this kit kind of sounds like it works. Like, Torpedo is actually a pretty good sub with it, and that's something we knew ahead of time. And now we know it has Reef Slider, which, like, hey, it gets you in and stuff. It makes sense, right? I mean, somewhat, but, there's just, like, a tiny, tiny little problem. This weapon is also in the video game. With another location bomb and Reef Slider. Uh-oh. I don't really get why they chose Reef Slider. I get it, they had Splashdown before, but... Why did it put me in this training room? Hello? It had Splashdown before, but, like... I don't think the slider works for it as well, and it's also something that's already, like, on the Tetra. And what makes Tetra work really well is Tetra basically ignores enemy terrain while it fights. Like, you roll and you shoot while you roll. Like, I'm not a super good Tetra player, but it's like, you know, I can shoot this guy while I'm moving around. So I can walk through his ink and shoot at him at the same time. That's a big threat. And DAPPLE can't do that. DAPPLE can still, like, get up close, but that's about it. The other unfortunate thing is it can't do the Torp combo anymore. Splashdown comboed okay, because the outside, or the medium hit would do 70 damage, and then the Torp would do 35. But Reef Slider does 60, so the outside of Torp doing 35 will no longer combo. It'll be like Aerospray, where you'd have to hit it direct with a bomb, which is really difficult to do if you were to roll it. And it's like, a displacement tool is so good with DAPPLE, because DAPPLE's fast. Like, DAPPLE is genuinely really quick, and in this game, I think DAPPLE's actually a solid main weapon. Like, if you storm and someone moves, they have to worry about you, boom, being on top of them like that. Like, the second the enemy can't fire you, you close the gap so fast. Like, their rolls are like a mini teleport. That's what I think makes them good right now, and I've even seen a lot of players be unprepared to how to fight DAPPLE, because they see a DAPPLE at mid-range, and they try to throw, like, a Fizzy at them, and by the time they throw the bomb, they die already. Like, that's what makes DAPPLE good. Like, after those rolls, it's still vulnerable, and it still has to get this close. But those rolls are so quick, especially when combined with the squid roll, which gives you some armor and even more distance. Like, I could be swimming, and then boom. Like, pop-up double roll. Like, that's super good. And this kit kind of gives it away, and it doesn't give it entry tools, but at least it's somewhat of a Rainmaker niche, which is probably what they were going for, and the kit's unique. This one's just... It's just literally a worse Tetra. And I'm disappointed by it. Like, this is the first kit where I don't have a good justification for it. Torpedo Rain was right there. That would have been a high-tier weapon. Maybe even better, honestly. And I don't know why it's not there. Maybe it'll be on Luna, but Luna wasn't great to have Rain on it with Fizzy anyway. It'd be a good kit, but I'd be disappointed because of how it affects the rolls. So, I'm hoping that doesn't happen, but now that seems more likely too, which I'm not happy with. I'm just a bit down about it. Like, I don't even play DAPPLE, but it's just 5 kits in a row. 3 of them that lack the proper entry tools. And 2 of them that are literally directly outclassed by Tetra having basically the same thing. Like, the DAPPLE NOUVEAU kit is dead on arrival. Like, unless if you're a passionate DAPPLE player and you want to play it, you could play it. But, like, in a competitive setting, there isn't a good reason to pick it over the Tetra. Because the kit synergizes better with Tetra, and Tetra's a better weapon. Like, the only thing you could argue is Torpedo's a better sub, but it's not better by that much to the point of picking DAPPLE. It just sucks, because, like, this could have been the perfect kit for it. And I'm worried now the next kit is going to have Mist and, like, Storm or something. Like, I'm worried it's going to get Mist, and Mist would not work with it. I really hope we eventually get 3rd kits for every weapon, and I very, very much hope that DAPPLE's 3rd kit is good. But it's going to have to wait a long time now, because everything else is probably going to get a 2nd kit first. So, you know, it's just unfortunate. I guess DAPPLE will retain the Rainmaker niche for now. I don't even know if that will last, given more kits happening. Could definitely fill the whole beacon thing. So, I don't know. We'll have to see, but to me, I think the DAPPLE's kit was disappointing. I think it was a perfect chance to give a hybrid of what worked with the clear DAPPLE kit and what worked in the NOUVEAU kit and make a perfect combination, or a near perfect one. And instead, it ended up being a recreation of a kit that was outclassed by Tetra, and in this game, it has the exact same fate. I don't care how much you buff Reef Slider, because I would just buff it on the Tetra as well. I think this kit is literally perma-doomed, unless if they hard kill Tetra or hard buff DAPPLE, then it's not happening. And even if they did that, it still is the problem of one will just be better than the other, which I think is the worst fate to have when you're creating set kits for weapons. This is the problem set kits are supposed to avoid, and, well, it's not avoided here. I hope it can at least be an entry-level weapon for players who want to learn Tetra and at least be fun in solo queue. But, yep, it's a disappointment. I won't sugarcoat it. See ya.